Okay. And welcome back to Olympus Sim Racing Season 5, Round 5 here at the Hungaroring for the Sprint Series. I'm joined by the wonderful Eric in the commentary box. Eric, say hello.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be back.
Hey, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great.
It's
I'm doing
lovely.
great.
It's lovely to have you. As always, in this sprint series here. As usual, an hour and 15 minutes, 2 pit stops, and today we're on the Hungaroring. Now, a lot of the tracks you and I have done, Eric, doesn't really require the change of tires. We did Zolder, we've done Silverstone before, and you could really get away with not changing. But the Hungaroring is very notorious for tire wear at the moment. So it's one big thing that I think these drivers are going to be taking there. So we're going to definitely see some tire changes, coupled with the fact of it's not wet, so the weather is fine, but it's more to the fact that it is night. It is the poor visibility here with the drivers is really going to affect all of them, because even those experienced ones...
It looks
Yep.
like the grid is about to start here.
Indeed it is. So let's run you through the cars at the moment. I cannot see P1 on my screen because apparently a set of course that loves to glitch out every time I start a commentary. P2 is M. Whitford, P3 is C. Hoffman, P4 is S. Pasadenas, P5 Tom Hanks, P6 P. Foldacy, P7 R. Morton, P8 M. Tarski, P9 is A. Zawadiski, P10 is C. Havlo, and P11 is C. Robinson. That completes your grid. So, in terms of the car choice, what are we thinking is going to be the most beneficiary on this track? Because the way I like to see the Hungaroring is kind of like a Spa, but like really flat. The main thing is it's got all types of corners. It's got the main straight from turn 16 to turns 1. You've got really fast corners like from turns 3 to 4, which is where if we're on board with M. Whitford in the number 86 McLaren, he's just going through turns 3 as they're warming up the tires. They will be going a lot faster than this, I assure you that much. So if we're going through turn 3 and now 4, you usually take that at full throttle, and that's an amazing corner to take whatever series you're in. You're GT, you're in F1, you're in DTM, whatever series. It's such a good feeling to take that corner because you're carrying so much speed. And then as we approach turns 5 and 6, this is where a lot of people get it wrong because they overcook the brakes, because that's the main thing. You want to brake late, but then you also don't want to get spun out by the death curb, which is right here, turns 6 and 7. This here is where we see a lot of drivers struggle as they overextend. They try to take a tight line and their car is rearwards. And that's really the unfortunate thing about this track is you got to be really careful. You want to go fast, you want to go speeding, but at the same time you don't want to go onto death curb. And that's one big thing. And this particular section through turns 8 and 9, this one a lot of people carry a lot of speed in and constantly have the rear sliding in the car. So it's quite interesting, because you want to go for the tighter line, you want to go and actually go slower to go faster in these corners, almost like to compromise yourself. But here is where we see drivers really struggling. Currently approaching turn 9 at the moment, and now turns 9, 10, 11, and 12. Actually, no, I think we've approached that. This isn't the correct map I have with me, so it's a flat corner as opposed to the F1. So I've got the F1 map with me as opposed to the GT map, which I apologize about. So yeah, I was gonna say they struggle with those corners, but clearly in the track map I've given, those corners don't exist. So a bit of a commentator's mistake for me. Hopefully we won't see the same from the drivers as we are approaching the start-finish line. Here is the famous Jensen button corner, as Jensen really likes to say. Really got to take it all within one sweep. And currently, as it stands, on board with M. Whitford in the number 86 McLaren, passing the start-finish line right now. It is green, green, green. We 1 hour and 14 minutes. We are go for racing. So C. Hoffman currently in P2 at the moment, as M. Whitford is in P1. So now my standings are fully updated because it was showing M. Whitford in P2 and there was an 11th car in the grid. He gets away well. So does C. Hoffman, as Pasadenas as well. So it looks like all of the drivers have gotten away quite cleanly. There's a little bit of a gap beginning to form, but there's no messy Monza-esque turn 1. So it's pretty good so far. And all drivers have been keeping a check. No track limits, no really big battles. As I say that though, C. Hoffman, the number 488 Ferrari, is being challenged by S. Pasadenas in the number 71 Bentley, while also trying to challenge M. Whitford, the leader. So he's trying to attack in the front and also getting attacked from the back. So what are we saying here? What's your take on the situation, Eric?
I think this track is probably going to benefit the Bentley. So the Bentley probably has a slight advantage, although C. Hoffman is slightly faster than Pasadenas. And I think C. Hoffman is probably going to pull away, but we'll see how this turns out.
Indeed it is, because as we've all known through whatever game, whatever series, whether you're playing on F1, whether you're playing on GT, and whatever racing series, whatever car it is, the Hungaroring is very notorious for high tire wear. So going long here is not the option a lot of these drivers really want to take, unless they are a bit of a Sergio Perez with their tire strategy at the moment. And currently as it stands, I do think with the 2 mandated pit stops that we're having, we will see a lot of tire changes. I don't think anyone is brave enough to really go without changing tires, and the advantage is so minuscule if you don't, that it's just worth it to change tires just generally. But as previously mentioned, the Bentley is a beneficiary for how many straights there are, as we are on board with S. Pasadenas in the number 71 Bentley. We can see the amount of downforce that they're doing, and especially through this corner number 5, we can really see the Bentley shine, as the Ferrari and the McLaren usually have to let off a little bit, but we can see how the Bentley just rides those curbs effortlessly, can really put a lot more throttle going into there. In the turns right now, 7 and 8, we are currently seeing just the Bentley fly. You don't have to lift off as much as you would typically do. You are perfectly fine. And again, seems like I've got the wrong track back up for the 2nd time. So whoop-de-doo, yay me. And instead of those turns, it's just a regular straight. But yeah, as mentioned, you know, that is one big thing that the now finally seems like I found the right track map. The main thing is that the Bentley really excels at those low downforce corners here right now on the Jensen button turn, as I like to call it, is where the Bentley really shines due to that high downforce. But the Ferrari and the McLaren, both good with medium downforce corners, and there are a lot of that. But where I guess the whole thing with downforce is that I just do think the Bentley will get the advantage, but C. Hoffman in the 488 Ferrari is just going to pull away due to the just general pace he has. But if S. Pasadenas can just keep up with them, there is a chance that they could potentially meet and potentially challenge for P2 at the moment. So yeah, over to you, Eric.
Yeah, I'm watching the battle between Tarkowski and Rocky Morton right now, and looks like Tarkowski is putting a lot of pressure on Rocky right now. Of course, Tarkowski is in the silver class, so he's supposed to be faster, but we'll see how long Rocky can hold off both Tarkowski and Hanks as they get closer and closer.
Indeed, it is, and that's one big thing is I really like to talk about car choice because it really says a lot about the driver and the driving style of the individual. And currently the Audi does look like it's going to be catching. It looks like if Rocky Martin in the number 44 Porsche wasn't there in front of him, it would be that M. Tarkowski would be challenging up ahead. But as you can see, Tom Hanks is also challenging M. Tarkowski. So almost it's like, as you mentioned, with all the classes. Oh, is he letting Tom Hanks by? Nope. I think he just opened the door and quickly closed it, kind of like an unwanted neighbor that you didn't expect to see currently going through Jensen Button corner. And I think the sheer speed of the Audi, because you have to remember, the Audi is a very light car. It can breeze through corners. It's not good with these high downforce tracks, but on the main straight, it is excelling like nothing you've ever seen. I think other than the Lamborghini. Speaking of excelling, Tom Hanks and M. Tarkowski side by side going into turn 2 now. And does Tom Hanks get the move done? Yes, he does, but he is indeed spun around, and so is Tarkowski as well. So that's a double spin for 7th and 8th, and now it's A. Zawodisky, number 69 Ferrari, who's just been waiting there in the background, says thank you very much. That's 2 free positions for me, and he is now up to 6th place. M. Tarkowski in 7th, and Tom Hanks in 8th. So it was a bit of an optimistic move, but the Aston Martin had the downforce. It is a bit of a shame because they've both got to get past R. Morton, who's now in effect created a 5.5 second gap to M. Tarkowski, but not for much longer, as we are seeing A. Zawodisky in the number 69 Ferrari go, but we're seeing now from Tarkowski a bit of a signal from the flashlights turning off and on rapidly, essentially saying, hey, we're in different classes, you've got to let me by now. And that is a signal for drivers to essentially let them by. It's not a blue flag type of situation, but because they're in different classes, they'll be competing for obviously first on the track and also first in class and whatnot. They'll be letting them by. So A. Zawodisky, though he is in a strong position in track at the moment, he has got to let Tarkowski by, or at least Tarkowski wants A. Zawodisky to let him by within a sense, because A. Zawodisky was actually hanging back before the collision between Tarkowski and Tom Hanks. So it looks like he is slowing down. I can see a little bit of brakes from Zawodisky as well, or is that just Tarkowski catching? Either way,
I do believe that might be just
that's C. Hoffman.
a different
C. Hoffman's off. Yep, sorry to interrupt very quickly, but C. Hoffman was taking a bit of a trip through the grass between turns 3 and 4. So a little bit of an unwanted trip, you would say, but currently does rejoin on 4th place on the track, so not too bad. Only lost about a position there, and hopefully can gain that back, as I guess the tires are starting now to warm up and really come into play, because it is night, it is 16 degrees, and though it may not be cold to some people, these tires are absolutely freezing at the moment, and just starting to really warm up as the drivers are now proceeding to put in those laps.
It does look like Hanks has caught up to Tarkowski once again, and we'll have to see if how their battle will play out, because I'm pretty sure. As I say that.
Oops, saying of that though, Tom Hanks just goes in, gets the position from Tarkowski. Tarkowski let the door open. Was that on purpose?
Yep.
Was that out of courtesy?
It did look like he missed that corner completely.
Yeah, so I thought it was initially out of courtesy because he obviously punted or made contact, but now Tom Hanks flashing in front for A. Zawodisky to let him by, and A. Zawodisky taking the wider line, opening the door, now taking the racing line. So he's entitled to take the racing line until, I guess, they are very close to each other, which they are right now, but currently as it stands, he's opened the door and closed it, so presumably A. Zawodisky thinks that is for position. Strangely though,
he technically doesn't have to let him go, even though they're in different classes. He can keep the position. It's just
It's more of a courtesy, would you say, between drivers?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So-
okay. No, it's understood. You know, it's each driver to their own, and they're running separate races. Though when they're on track, though they're, you know, technically on track, vying for position, as you would say, they are in separate races. So
Oh, it looks
It's,
like Hoffman already took his first pit stop there. Maybe trying to get that out of the way or early.
So C. Hoffman, in the number 48 Ferrari, who was running fourth place, has now been the first car to stop and currently in everyone's pit box window. We did see Hoffman go through the gravel and actually burn up his tires a little bit, so it could just be that he wanted to get onto a fresh set, but it's only been about 10 minutes, so it is really interesting because C. Hoffman might baby his tires to the end, and he is within a lot of people's pit stop box windows, but no one I don't think is going to box this early. Tires should still be relatively okay, but we'll see what happens. Currently as it stands though, it's going to be interesting. Do you reckon, within your sole opinion, because I've seen this in a couple of racing series, that individuals will take another deliberate pit stop in Hungary to potentially you know, gain that advantage? We've seen that with Formula One, with Mercedes back in 2019. So maybe C. Hoffman or some of the other drivers are already thinking, instead of the 2 mandated pit stops, maybe I can go for 3. It could be something to think about. And I think we have seen that before in the series, where it's not necessarily an unscheduled pit stop, but it's just more so that there is a little bit of a tire advantage gain, and especially at a track like this where individuals will only want to do 2 pit stops. If you are fast enough, you could potentially see yourself in a very good position, especially with everyone trying to nurse their tires until the first pit stop at the moment. So it does seem like within all of that, Tom Hanks has gotten past A. Zawadzki and is now battling Rocky Martin in the number 44 Porsche. Though I think they are in separate class. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, so it does look like it's a pretty clean race, pretty quiet race. You know, there's only 10 cars on grid, but they're a relatively even match. So over to you, Eric.
Yeah, Tom Hanks overtook Zawadzki earlier when Hoffman was in the pit lane, and it looked like he did it pretty easy. And it didn't take him long before he caught up to Rocky Martin here. So he's got good pace. Of course, in practice, Tom Hanks was, I think he was second right behind Whitford early on in the practice. So I think Tom Hanks might be a driver to look out for, because he might actually be able to push up all the way up into overall podium place later in the race. But of course, we'll see how much of a resistance Rocky put up here now. Rocky,
Indeed, that's so.
Rocky is, of course, he tends to be quite nice on the overtakes when it comes to classes and lapping cars. But we'll see if he plays rough today, because it looks like he's got his mind determined on winning this one.
Indeed he is, and that's the mindset you need for everyone. Ooh, Tom Hanks and Rocky Martin make a little bit of a bump-to-bump contact. Luckily, it's not too much, but yeah, I think they've all gotten past, and that's a bit of an indirect signal from Tom Hanks, I would assume, to let Rocky Martin know that essentially, hey, I need to get past here. We're in different classes. And Tom Hanks moves up into 4th place, and don't know if that was intentional or not, but I guess you want to really do it on the main straight, because you don't want to really lose so much of time giving the position back and then having to defend from someone else. So the main straight is good because you're on throttle, full throttle on your peloton metal, but then you can lift off just before the first corner, and they even did that on the last corner, turn 16. So really well done to them in that case. So Tom Hanks up into P4. Looks like he's got decent pace.
Yeah,
now is where we're going to see that. See if we can catch up to P. Daisy in the number 711 BMW.
He's already pulled a 1 second gap to Rocky Morton there, so it looks like he's definitely got the pace to catch up to the guys ahead. If I look at the timings here, it looks like, yeah, for Tom Hanks, he's a half a second on his best lap faster than Peter Daisy, so he has the opportunity to catch him. I think it looks like he's also faster than Pasanidis in second place, so I think this is going to be an interesting race all the way to the end.
Indeed it is, because Tom Hanks in the number 666 Aston Martin has really got the devil by the string and using them to really pump in those lap times. So going through the start-finish line, looking at the gap to P. Daisy in the number 711 BMW, it looks to be about 13 seconds, but as you mentioned, half a second up on his fastest time, and only going to get faster. He's looking like a P2 at the moment, and depending on how he plays his pit stops, could even mean the race win. So M. Whitford, Tom Hanks, C. Hoffman, 3 individuals where I could say could generally, on track, win the race.
Yeah, that is for sure. Pasanidis, he's been really unlucky this season. He's in the 4 races that he has raced, I think he's gotten disconnected all 3 of them. He's been really unlucky there. But this race, it looks like he's really showing his pace, and that he actually can be up at the at least top silver class, and even looks like he might be below pro class as well there.
Indeed, and it really hurts when you're doing everything right, but the only thing that really faults you is your hardware, and that does happen, especially with this league racing. There's nothing you can really do about it, but when you get the opportunity to, shine, as Pasadena is currently doing, we can see some truly magical performances at the moment. He is about 15.6 seconds away from M. Whitford in the number 86 McLaren, and is generally showing its true pace. So hopefully there's no disconnects for the number 71 Bentley or for anyone on the field at the moment. So that is one big thing. Hopefully their driving ability serves them well, and we could see some very exciting racing. Currently 56 minutes to go. 1 pit stop done by C. Hoffman, and looks like tires are still fine for the majority of individuals.
Zawadzki is trying to make a move on Rocky here. Rocky's been losing pace. It does not look like he's gonna overtake here.
Not through here, but potentially could do it through turns 2 and 3. So as Zawadzki is getting the slipstream, obviously the Ferrari a lot better than straight line than the Porsche. The Porsche a lot better in the corners as we do go through turn 4 and now 5. And here is where we're going to see some big differences. Potentially, Zawadzki could overtake R. Morton on the main straight. Oh, we can see that R. Morton break a tad bit late. I guess that is, I was going to say track limit warning, but that is a drive-through penalty for R. Morton. So really feeling the pressure of the Ferrari. Zawadzki just knows that with or without a penalty, if it stays this way, it is going to be hidden into 5th place provisionally.
Of course, Zawadzki also has a 30-second penalty carrying over from last race, as he's collected 3 penalty points. Each driver, of course, that collects 3 penalty points gets an automatic plus 30-second time added to either their current race or their next race, and Zawadzki is going to get that at the end of the race. So Rocky Morton still has the chance to keep his position, but it's going to be interesting because Zawadzki clearly has a little bit better pace right now than Rocky.
Indeed he does. Rocky Martin, the number 44 Porsche, into the pits, not for a pit stop, but for a drive-through penalty. A Zawadzki into P5 on the track without the penalties. M. Tarkowski into P6. And our Rocky Martin is currently not in his pit box, exiting pit lane to serving that drive-through. As soon as he's got a P7, C. Havlo in the number 17 Lamborghini does catch up to him, does pass him. Up into P7 he goes. C. Robinson in number 689 Mercedes does not. And C. Hoffman, we do not see him actually pass them. So though it's helped him, though it's gotten him within Morton's pit stop. Oop, what's happened?
Savello went off track. Morton overtook him. Yeah, it looked like that could have been dangerous, but he saved it.
Well, luckily for Lamborghini, obviously Lamborghini is quite a hard car to really control, especially on this track where it's a lot of high downforce. You will gain that experience through, well, not the experience, but the advantage through main straights, you know, like turn 14 to turn 1. But you will really struggle within these corners, as currently C. Havello is going through. But currently, as it stands, we do have, and this is a bit crucial for C. Hoffman, as he's not actually gotten within R. Morton's pit stop box window. So though R. Morton is now in the pit stop box window, that does mean for C. Hoffman that if R. Morton would have pitted, he would have still come out ahead in the current position he's in. So was that a pit stop too early for C. Hoffman? What are your thoughts, Eric?
I mean, I was just going to say, do you think it's damaged? Because it might as well have been that Hoffman had a little bit of damage after that incident he had. So he might have stayed in the pit a little bit longer to repair that. So that might
I don't see any damage on the car, so I doubt it. Steering looks okay as well. So no, I doubt that there's any damage on that Ferrari. Doesn't look like the steering wheel is slanted towards anyway, and C. Hoffman is potentially, if I'm not mistaken, going to be lapped by M. Whitford, who is just behind him, in number 86 McLaren. So has that pit stop strategy paid off, or has it not, is the main thing. I don't think it's damage, but I do think it's a general strategy failure that C. Hoffman has done.
He might have just forgotten to put in enough fuel. He might have been on qualifying fuel and then just realized. Could be something like this.
Indeed it is. And it's one big thing. I mean, it could just be a fuel error, it could just be an early pit stop, it could be a lot of things. And hopefully, after 50 minutes, we'll see some good results from him, as well as from the rest of the grid. But we'll definitely ask him after this what happened within the race and what that reason for the pit stop is. Currently, he is in P10, about 5 seconds away from C. Robinson, number 689 Mercedes. And now, I think the race has become really calm. All the drivers are just pumping in those laps. It's not going to be a race of action, but more so a race of strategy. M. Tarkowski in the number 420 Audi, first in the top 6 of the pit, and now has just come out, I think, in P8, if I'm not mistaken.
P6? No, wait.
P6, as we go through the sector detectors. We'll get that in a bit. So he's going through turns 1 and now through turns 2. So that is P7, so not P8. P7 he's lost one position. And
We're seeing
rather,
a
P8.
battle for position right now. C. Hoffman is catching up to C. Robertson right now.
So it seems like C. Hoffman has jumped. Oh, that was quite easy. Didn't have to really compete on that. So that was P turn 5, where that C. Hoffman passed C. Robinson. So Ferrari and Mercedes, we haven't seen that in quite a while. And currently the San C. Hoffman, if we go through the next couple of turns through the sector, maybe his pit stop is finally paying off into P8. So just going through turns 11 and now turn 12. So yes, that is P8 for C. Hoffman, and now he can go chase after C. Havello, the number 17 Lamborghini. But as it stands, M. Tarkowski is now being lapped by M. Whitford. So M. Whitford is lapping him, and at the first of the blue flags coming out, we see. Oh, is that C. Robinson? C. Robinson.
Oh,
he's off. Is that damage? Potentially.
He's right outside the pit lane, so we'll see if he goes into the pit here.
Does indeed go to the pit. That Mercedes is moving very slowly.
And we see Sawatsky just got a drive through as well.
So a lot of action in the pit lane. 48 minutes to go in this race,
and
things
this
are really starting to ramp up.
Yeah, this might even out the battle between Sawatsky and Rocky Morton, because Rocky Morton got a drive through earlier, and now it's Sawatsky's turn. So Sawatsky might come out right in front or right behind Rocky Morton, so that might be a battle to keep an eye out for.
Indeed it is. So Zawadzki, I mean, it really depends when he takes the penalty. You have 3 laps to do so within a conventional drive-through penalty. Just approaching the pit lane now. Zawadzki looks like he's going in. Same strategy as his sparring partner, Rocky Martin, goes into the pit lane. Careful to engage that pit limit. Don't want to go in there for speeding. And now we wait. Currently, I'm keeping an eye on Zawadzki on Rocky Martin. So he just coming through the final bit of corners now through turn 13 and now through turn 14. Zawadzki just approaching pit lane. Rocky Martin just approaching the straight. They're both approaching straight. Zawadzki has his drive-through cleared, is going out on colder tires. Rocky Martin pedal to the metal, can see him, and has now, I believe, not overtaken him, but has overtaken C. Hoffman. No, that's
Robertson. He's one lap
Robinson.
down, I think.
Yeah, Robinson is 1 lap down, so that did not work. It has not leveled the playing field as we would hope, but it has indeed reduced it by a significant margin. Currently, the gap between Zawadzki is about, we're seeing as they go through the sector detector, so from Tom Hanks to Zawadzki, it is 13 seconds. From Rocky Martin to Zawadzki, that is 4.6 seconds. So really close, but Zawadzki in the number 69 Ferrari still stays ahead of his sparring partner.
Yeah, he also got that 30-second penalty from last race, so right now Rocky, technically he's in front of Zawadzki, but of course Zawadzki looks like...
longer?
Yeah, Zawadzki definitely looks like he's got the pace though, so if Zawadzki can keep his pace and pull away, he might actually be able to keep that 5th place.
Indeed, and that's one of the big things is though the gap is still 12 seconds now from Zawadzki and R. Morton, so just Zawadzki going through the sector now on the start-finish line, and now R. Morton following him 4.7 seconds. 45 minutes is a very long time to build up that kind of gap. They're very similar at pace, so It may not be built, and we may see Asa Wadisky with the 30-second penalty actually be behind, down into P9 at the moment. So, very interesting. Really goes to show how big that 30-second penalty is. As M. Whitford in the number 86 McLaren, I don't think we mentioned this, has actually gone in for their first pit stop, is now chasing S. Pasadenas, the number 71 Bentley, who currently leads the race. But currently, M. Whitford is in P1, as P. Foldacy in the number 711 BMW is one of the first top 3 runners to now come in for that pit stop. And now we're really going to see if Hoffman's early pit stop has paid off. Currently going through the second sector, C. Hoffman is, and P. Foldacy, that's tire change, that's fuel being added, and that is, I guess, up until 20 minutes until the race ends, because he's extended the first set of tires quite a lot. You cannot go to the end, you need one more mandatory pit stop. So if you don't want to change your tires, I'm not sure what the tire wear level is of these drivers. And we do see P. Foldacy still in the pits. C. Hoffman catching up, now approaching turn 14. Has this worked in his favor? Yep, P. Foldacy. We can hear the engines revving. We see C. Hoffman just gunning it down the main straight.
Oh, this is going to be tight.
Out of the pit lane. C. Hoffman on warmer tires. They can see each other. And C. Hoffman does get the braking. He's done it indeed. C. Hoffman comes out ahead of P. Foldacy. And that's put him up, I do believe, into 5th or 6th place, shall I say.
I do believe,
and,
yeah.
That...
Yeah, he's up into
bad.
5th place, yeah. Or 6th.
Indeed. 6th. It should be 6th.
Yeah, there we go.
As they go through the sectors. Yep, there we are. Right. ACC taking a while to update with these standings.
Yeah,
but
this battle is going to be interesting because Hoffman, of course, he pitted earlier, so his tires are going to wear out, or most likely anyways, going to wear out quicker. Foldacy's going to have more grip.
They are warmer, though.
What was that?
They are warmer tires.
Oh yeah,
Foldacy's going to take a while to warm up. So
that's true. So
meantime,
I think he's going to lose now in the beginning, and then after a few laps, I think we're going to see Foldacy actually start picking up the pace and catching Hoffman.
We're really going to see that on the main straight. Even with cold tires, the grip levels and the amount of speed you get is insane. Foldacy from Hoffman, 1.4 seconds. So that is a very close pit stop. Very close strategy. And now approaching turn 14, we'll see what the gap is on board with P. Foldacy, number 711 BMW. And look at that slipstream come into effect. I can already see that he's gaining. He is really gaining here. And it's going to be the braking zone where Count C. Hoffman has to slam the brakes. You can really hear the screeching. C. Foldacy, though, perfectly fine. Slamming the brakes, but his tires are okay. C. Hoffman just nursing, really nursing until the next pit stop, which is, I would say, in about 10 to 20 minutes time. And as it stands, it won't take more than a few laps for P. Foldacy to, in theory, have the net P6. So, not too bad whatsoever.
Yeah, hopefully none of these drivers are going to get a drive-through. We already had... How many did we have? 2 drive-throughs so far, I think?
2.
Yeah.
2 at the moment, yeah.
Of course, Hungaroring is very... There seems to be a lot of drivers that get drive-throughs on this track. I know we...
Track limits are quite harsh on yours.
Oh, yeah. I know last season at Hungaroring, it was, I think it was last lap, Kara Sorenko, he was pushing a little bit too hard, trying to overtake, and he got that drive-through right at the end, but he continued without taking the drive-through, so he got a 30-second penalty, and he dropped down all the way to 9th or 10th, I believe. So from being second or third down to 10th. So yeah, the drive-throughs on this track can punish you quite a bit.
Indeed, and that's one big thing is with the penalties. Track limits on this track are very, very easy to come by. We see a lot of people trying to overextend and turn 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that would be the real squiggly bits on the track as we're on board with S. Pasadenas in the Bentley. The Bentley has a lot better, I guess, succumsion to these turns. I don't know the specific word for it, but
it's a lot better to take curbs, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a lot better to take. I don't know where succumsion came from. It's
I don't even know what that means in English, you know.
I don't even know what that means in English as well. And English is my first language, so have I just invented a word? I'll just double check for you after this race is done.
Yeah.
But essentially what I'm trying to say is, in layman's terms, the Bentley takes the 7, 8, 9, and 10 a lot better than typical cars do, but that's where you get track limits, because you see a lot of people going on the curbs and trying to really gain that 10th or even those milliseconds at times. As I do think we have a three-way battle for positions. That's Zawadzki, Morton, and Hoffman in the Ferrari, Porsche, and Ferrari. So
Faldesi had a little bit of an incident just a few moments ago, so he's a little bit further back, but it looks like he's definitely catching up to this pack, so it's gonna be interesting to see. Oh, as we see both, and we see three other cars going in.
Faldesi. In the cars going pits, very synchronized. Faldesi says thank you very much. Now moves up into fourth. So through the cars, was that a bit of a coordination? Was that a bit of a reaction? I'm not sure. So it's a Ferrari, a Porsche, and a Ferrari in a bit of a Ferrari sandwich at the moment. So
I'm watching the pit lane right now. It's going to be interesting to see who gets out first here.
I think it's really now all about stopping on the marks. That's where we'll determine who gets out first. But C. Hoffman has pit lane position. Really depends if they have damage, how much fuel they're adding, if they're changing tires, or anything. This is C. Hoffman's last stop.
Yeah, he's taking his stops quite early. Not saving anything for an accident.
That's the end.
Yeah.
Theoretically. Which is interesting. So we've just gotten the thing from race control that we are indeed halfway into the race. So is that a bit calculated from C. Hoffman as he is first out of the pit lane?
Morton, I believe Rocky Morton took his position in pit lane. I believe Rocky came in after Zawadzki, didn't he?
He did. It was a It seems like now the two Ferraris have now swapped.
Zawadzki spun.
Essentially. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's him into the wall on cold tires. A. Zawadzki in the number 69 at Ferrari. It's done a bit of slamming, but not in the way you would expect, as he does go into the wall and potentially could take his pit stops back to back, which is interesting. But ooh, that's super unfortunate for him. I really apologize I didn't catch that. But C. Hoffman has really benefited from this. Though it's still a Ferrari sandwich, C. Hoffman, due to pit lane position, and also the fact that he stopped on his marks a lot faster than everyone else, is in 7th. Potentially could go higher, as he is able to go to the end on these tires, as C. Havello in the Lamborghini takes his first of his two pit stops. Over to you.
Yeah, I just saw Tom Hanks just left the pit stop, or left the pit, so he's taking his first pit stop now. He is still behind Faldesi though, so I'm not sure if he's... Yeah, I think he's gained about 3 seconds on Faldesi since we last saw him overtake Rocky, I believe. So he's definitely got the pace on the cars ahead right now.
Oh yeah, I would say for sure. Tom Hanks, very skilled driver, very good driver within the series. So I do have no doubt about it that he will be somewhere up there on the top, though. Saying that though, the leader, M. Whitford, pits. So everyone is currently on one pit stop or lower. A. Zawadiski, as mentioned, I predicted it right. Back-to-back pit stops, presumably also to fix that damage, and to now go to the unrest. M. Whitford exits behind C. Havello, but they are being left, so C. Havello being shown the blue flag into turn one, letting him by, and M. Whitford getting not only the net lead, but the lead in position as well. So that's a very well done to him. Or that I am mistaken, Espacidinos currently has the lead in the Bentley. And look how much, if you go on board with him, you can see how much he's trying to fight that car. A stop and go penalty for Zawadiski, who's taken 2 pit stops back to back, now has a stop and go penalty. So this cannot get much worse for him, as he nearly does what he did just a lap ago and tries to save it from slamming it into the wall. Luckily, it doesn't go in this time, but now has a stop and go penalty, so he's got about 3 laps to do that.
Yeah, and don't forget, he's also got that plus 30-second penalty, so he's going to be quite far down now. C. Robinson, of course, has 1 pit stop to go, but it might C. Robinson might actually overtake Zawadzki here.
Indeed, he might, because he is about 27 seconds, or rather, he's 10 seconds back. So with the stop and go penalty, and the pit stop as well, so he could do his pit stop and the stop and go. No, rather, he can do his pit stop and still be ahead of Zawadiski. So that really puts in context how much he has, and on top of it is a 30-second penalty to be added after the race. So effectively, C. Robinson is in P9, if he stays that way. It looks like Zawadiski really trying to push on his tires, trying to gain that pace, and getting the tighter line, braking later, accelerating earlier. He's driving angrily. He wants to gain that time that he's lost, but that's a lot of time to lose. And now everyone's under 1 pit stop, or have completed their pit stops. Zawadiski does not take that on the immediate first lap, as we've seen so many other drivers do. And now 2 more laps he has, otherwise I think that is there's an immediate time penalty being added to his race, or even in some cases a disqualification. Could potentially be in P10 after this, so it's a huge thing, and really I don't know really what else to say in that regard. It's super unfortunate for Zawadiski, and hopefully claws back the time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pit stops that need to be made, and a stop and go penalty. So we'll be seeing a lot of activity in the pit lane, as Pasadenas, the leader, Tom Hanks, M. Tarkowski, R. Morton, C. Havello, and C. Robinson, along with A. Zawadiski, have to serve pit stops, and in the case of A. Zawadiski, has to serve a 30-second stop and go penalty, presumably for exiting the pit lane unsafely.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Zawadzki, because he was fighting with Rocky Morton. He even had a better pace, so even despite he had that 30-second penalty that he's going to be receiving at the end of the race, it was looking like he could still take the first place in the M class, but right now it's looking really dark for him. But yeah, I just hope he pushes on, because he's got the pace, so he might actually regain a little bit of time at least.
Indeed it is, and A. Zawadiski coming into the pits now. So the number 69 Ferrari currently serving his 30-second stop and go penalty. So this is hopefully be the last time he enters the pit lane, and now overtaken by C. Robinson. Still has a pit stop to go, remind you, C. Robinson. And we've seen the pace of A. Zawadzki, so we will potentially see them to battle it out. But remember that Zawadzki, I think, has a 30-second time penalty to be added after the race due to his penalty points. So it will be interesting to see where he ends up, but hopefully will end up a lot higher than he is at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pit stops still there. No one is budging. Rather, as I say that, M. Tarkowski in the number 420 Audi now has his pit stop. A. Zawadzki in last on track and on penalties. Has his pit stop cleared. 30 minutes he has, brother, 29 minutes and 40 seconds. And he can really go to the end of this race. And I'm really going to be observing him because he can potentially catch Robinson, he can potentially catch Avello, he can potentially catch Tarkowski as well. But as it stands, he is currently in P10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more pit stops to go. Going to be shaping to be like quite an interesting one. And Whitford, the driver who is leading this race, and provisionally also leading this race, has now gotten a drive-through penalty. So as I said, it was going to be a good one. Now the odds have swung in everyone's favor, and potentially Espasadinhas' favor, because he will get not only the provisional lead, but also the lead for position, as M. Whitford is going to serve his drive the penalty.
What was their time difference before Whitford's pit stop? Do we know that? Because
I think it was about a 15-second gap. Saying that though, as Pasadinhas does now come to the pits to respond to Whitford's stop and go penalty, and that's about a 10-second buffer. So theoretically, Whitford and Pasadinhas are pitting. Pasadinhas should now come ahead of M. Whitford, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Whitford has had a really good pace the entire race, though. So I think
it's a shame.
Whitford is about 2 seconds faster than Pasadina's fastest time. So I think Whitford might still
Pasadinhas
keep his position.
No, Whitford's got it. No, he's got it for sure, and he's also gained the lead in that. That's not the dramatic race-altering pass that we wanted to see, but it was done in the pit lane, of all places, and it was probably the slowest pass for position. As Pasadinhas has pitted, but it's one thing on his side, and that is new tires to go right to the end of this race. A lot fresher than M. Whitford does. Tom Hanks, though, still behind Pasadinhas, so he's going to really extend these tires. So Pasadinhas is at a disadvantage, and he potentially is now going to be able to pit and go to the end of this race. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pit stops from 6, and a couple of drive-through penalties later. 26 minutes left in this dramatic Hungarian Grand Prix, and it is truly one not based on driving, not as much as strategy, and I would love to see the drivers being tested on what they really, and their personal judgment can do. But yeah, 4 pit stops and several laps later, we are currently doing not too badly.
Yeah, and it looks like we might have a battle between Tom Hanks and Foldasi still going on. Foldasi, of course, he's cleared all his pit stops, but Tom Hanks still has 1 pit stop to go, and right now the gap is about 20 seconds between the two. So after Tom Hanks takes his pit stop, it's going to be interesting to see. Is he taking it now? I believe he is.
Indeed he is. So Tom Hanks, the last of the leading pair to take his pit stop, the number 666 Aston Martin. And I think that's P. Foldasi going to overtake him. so he's on much fresher tires than Beeful
Oh,
Daisy
we
is.
see Zawadzki go off. Almost
Is that
hitting.
him off? And
He did go off. He
is that
almost...
damage to his Ferrari?
Nope, I believe he's good. I didn't see him touch the
Nope,
wall.
I actually... No, that's rear damage to his Ferrari. If you look at his rear wing, you can see a little bit of scratch marks. Oh, and he's gone wide, so that is...
And there's
and Whitford as well. Yeah, I don't know if that was intentional or not. That's a odd way to let someone by. I don't think that was...
from what I could see, Zawadzki almost hit Whitford, but he might have clipped him. I'm not sure why Whitford would spin there.
Is that rear damage? I do think it's front and rear damage to them both. Whitford has now lost a couple of seconds. Zawadzki, though, does have a lot of rear damage and is sliding all over the place, lets Whitford by. And currently, as it stands, I do think that is damage to Zawadzki's car. Because you can really see, look at struggle to turn that.
Yeah, it definitely
He's got to pit in this lap.
Nope. Maybe he doesn't have damage.
He's not, so...
Maybe he's good. Maybe it's just slight damage to the car.
Slight damage, getting used to it and stuff.
Oh, Tom Hanks is
or
taking
just maybe to...
Tom Hanks is behind Full Lazy.
So
really
Gap has...
Oh
so
yeah,
that's, I think it's an entire sector.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17 seconds. 17 seconds.
He
Tom
does
Hanks
have
effectively in
Hoffman
P4.
behind him though.
So, all of the drivers in top 5 are going to the end. R. Morton, C. Havello, C. Robinson, and potentially A. Zawadzki due to damage are now going to be making pit stops, but currently the 3 mandated pit stops are for Morton, Havello, and Robinson in the Porsche, the Lamborghini, and the Mercedes. And currently, as it stands, Rocky Morton should be taking in this lap. I mean, his tires must be crying from it. Nope, he's decided to extend further.
Yeah.
And currently...
I'm surprised he hasn't pitted yet. Maybe he feels that he's got
it
good
could just
pace
be...
still. Although his last lap
Indeed,
is
I mean...
1 second slower than his fastest, so... It's obviously lost some pace there.
It's an entire thing. I mean, the real big thing is you gotta decide this by yourself and really gotta make your own decisions. If you think that your tires are okay, then you can go on and really not change your tires. But I think the advantage you gain with new tires, you're so great that you want to. I remember I was seeing a Formula 1 league race on here, where the individual had really extended to go onto the soft compound of tires opposed to the medium and whatnot. So maybe it could be that last mad dash push, all or nothing approach to the end, as there should be just that, like, if I'm going to be pushing, I'm going to be pushing with everything I got, no conservation, and he's safe from behind, so he's got really nothing to lose and all to gain, as they commonly say. The other 2 drivers, C. Havello and C. Robinson, a bit of a mystery case. Robinson is safe behind from, I think, 2 laps, and is going quite slowly, so I think just really going through his laps in. A lot of these guys maybe just want to take a late pit stop in order to just push onto the race, and that's I guess my perspective on thing. What do you reckon?
I think they reckon that. I don't. Yeah, it's hard. Savello and Robertson are only 9 seconds. I believe at least 9 seconds between each other. Am I mistaken?
Indeed. So M. Tarkowski and C. Havello, about a 9-second gap. M. Tarkowski can go to the end. C. Havello is deciding to extend, I believe. No, I do think he's. Yep, he was gonna initially go to the pit lane, but I think he may think that the tires are still okay at this stage, so it's not too bad. I mean, if you can make the tires last, that's up to you, especially a track like this. It's pretty amazing that you can do that. But yeah. We do see Velo potentially make a bit of a move on a Zawadiski, but that's not for position as he is, I do believe, a lap behind. So see Velo going into 8th place, staying in 8th place, so not too bad from him.
Indeed. And there's actually, I think the Savello and Robertson has. Where is Robert? Oh yeah, they have quite a big gap actually. It's not 9 seconds. It's Havello has 10 seconds to Tarkowski. I read that wrong. So Havello is quite a bit ahead of Robertson right now. As we see him, Zawadzki almost lose it there.
Indeed, that's not been a good day for Zawadzki, has it?
No, he's really been struggling with that car. Not really sure what's going on. I think yesterday I saw him on track. He was practicing quite hard. So not sure what is going on today. It's just not his day.
Indeed, it isn't, and that's one big thing. It's you have your good days as a racing driver, you have your bad days as a racing driver, and it's a huge thing. I mean,
yeah,
you gotta salvage what you can from the bad days and transfer it into the good. You know, it's experience. See Robinson, number 689 Mercedes pits, and now we can go to the end of the race.
Yes, we see CML is actually even 1 lap ahead of Robertson now. Actually, he's 2 laps down.
Yep.
Am I reading that correctly?
Mercedes driver.
Yeah.
Indeed, he is 2 laps down.
Yeah, he's really struggling. Not sure if it might be the car that he doesn't like, or yeah, he hasn't had the best season.
Mercedes is quite difficult to drive. I've driven it before, so I mean, contrary to a lot of Formula 1 Sigmas, the Mercedes aren't great in my opinion for GT cars. People who can drive them, I take my hat off to them. That is amazing, because those cars are very hard to drive, very, very hard. And yeah, just generally it is a tricky car to drive. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's a rookie and you know, is not really used to that car and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's not surprising whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mercedes was the first car I actually tried when I started up ACC the first time, and I absolutely hated it. I didn't like the handling at all, but of course, a few updates ago, and I'm not really sure about the handling right now, but I know the GT4 Mercedes is really great to drive. But yeah, and you can't forget either that each car has its own characteristics and handling, and just one car might not fit everyone. One car might fit one person, but then be terrible for the next person. So it's all about driving style and how you handle the car and all that.
Indeed, and that's one big thing. Is that you've really gotta pick and choose your strengths and your driving style. As previously mentioned, you know, when you pick a car, it says a lot about the driver. For me, I'm an Aston Martin kind of guy. You know, I like the Aston Martin. I think it's a very nice car. I really like the McLaren as well, but I really like the Aston Martin V8. It's a nice and stable car.
Speaking of the Aston Martin, there's a battle between Tom Hanks and C. Hoffman right now.
Oh yeah, so both of them currently about 4/10 apart. And we've seen these guys trade position through pit stops, and now, 15 minutes ago, it is indeed the battle for the race. And if you'll excuse me one moment, I've just got to mute myself.
Yeah, I think this battle is going to be... I think it's going to be hard for Tom Hanks to hold off Hoffman for 15 minutes, so we're probably going to see Hoffman overtake him at some point. The question is how long Tom Hanks can hold him off, or if he even wants to hold him off. As we see Robertson move out of the way to not cause any problems for the drivers that are competing. Hoffman has been catching up quite fast. But of course, Tom Hanks is a good driver and probably knows how to hold him off, at least for a little bit here. If you actually can hold him off until the end of the race, that would be an amazing spectacle to watch. Right now, this is the only battle on track, I believe. Rocky Morton and Cinevella's still got their pit stops to go. So that might be interesting to see how that turns out as well. Tom Hanks. He's keeping that gap. Gap of about half a second. We'll see. I'm not too sure who took their pit stop last. It's probably Tom Hanks, so he should have fresher tires. But saying that, it all depends how you actually handle the tires on track as well. You drive in one way and your tires are going to get worn out a lot quicker. Hoffman is closing the gap real quick right now. Just looking for that gap, and has he found it? It looks like he's trying to overtake here. I think he might, because he has the inside here. He's going to go by. And yep, he's gone by. Can Hanks actually push back here? Try and retake his position. He is pushing, but looks like he's already losing. Yeah, he's already lost half a second to Hoffman, so Hoffman is definitely on a mission here. 12 minutes left. I can't see Hoffman catching Fuldesi. They're on equal pace right now, so I don't believe that's possible unless Fuldesi makes a mistake. Of course, it's very possible that happens, but we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
Indeed, we will. Apologies for my absence. I am returned after a little bit of a short break for the throat because this old boy can't be speaking for too long anyway. So, currently as it stands.
I don't know if you missed it, but Hoffman just snuck in there and took over that. It looked pretty simple, actually, from Hoffman. The third sector, I believe it was.
Indeed. I mean, we've seen C. Hoffman, shall I say, with amazing pace throughout this entire series, so it wouldn't have surprised me. As previously mentioned before I left, it's pretty hard to have individuals hold off one another, and especially that's for Tom Hanks and C. Hoffman, and as you mentioned, the overtake was quite easy, so I'm gonna guess C. Hoffman had a lot more pace, and especially since Tom Hanks had pitted earlier. So indeed, yes, whether he pitted later, but the advantage hadn't paid off. 2 more pit stops, 11 minutes to go, final stretch, and these are some very late pit stops. I'm genuinely surprised how these individuals have carried the tires this far, especially at a track where it's known to be very high tire wear. But currently it stands 10 minutes 45 seconds to go, and Whitford currently leading the race in the number 86 McLaren. S. Pasadenas behind him. P. Fuldesi is in third. C. Hoffman's in 4th. T. Hanks is in 5th. R. Morton in 6th. Now coming into the pits for his pit stop. So that is a full push towards the end, presumably, on those tires and on that set of fuel. Is that going to be the same for C. Havello? Nope, he's just missed the pit exit, but presumably will now react as R. Morton got for his pit stop. And you can see the tires really struggling with that Lamborghini. R. Morton is currently in 6th, but for how much longer as M. Tarkowski, the number 420 Audi, that does have some rear damage to the back of the car. Currently in 7th, potentially in 6th now, as R. Morton does stop for his pit stop A, and that's C. Havello in 8th, currently going through sector 2, and that's A. Zawadzki in 9th, and number 69 Ferrari, C. Robinson in 10th. So that is R. Morton cleared. He's back on racing, can go to the end. M. Tarkowski did not catch him. S. Pasadenas did, though, but he is quite a ways down, so it's not going to affect either of their positions. R. Morton, I do believe, still stays in P6, so that was the position change. R. Tarkowski now has the gap reduced, but by how much, I don't think that's really going to change. And this is a full outline push to the end. C. Havello, though, does not pit, so really extending those tires, potentially to be safe from A. Zawadzki behind him. Well, technically he's a lap ahead of him, so he is safe no matter what. If he pits, he could technically pit, 2-3 times in a row for fresh sets of tires and fuel, and he would still be ahead. But yes, currently sends Ciavello being the final pit stop in the number 17 Lamborghini.
Yeah. I'm just looking at Hoffman right now. He's coming up to some back markers. There's not a lot happening on track right now. Tom Hanks is still losing pace on Hoffman. Doesn't look like Hoffman is letting any back markers slow him down either, so Hoffman is probably going to keep his position unless he makes any mistakes.
I mean, Hoffman and Hanks are relatively well matched, and they seem to be handling the traffic, so really just about banging in those laps till 7 minutes go by. And that's a pretty quiet race now, I think, as everything settles down. There are no last lap battles, no last lap lunges, I don't think, and it's just really about siphoning through the traffic and getting the car home. At least that would be my objective if I was a driver there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mark Westford, he's had a pretty easy race today, though.
Indeed he has, even though he's had a drive-through and a couple of offs, he has had quite an easy race. Havel, though, we can see struggling with those tires. Still is extending. I don't know how.
I don't know if he knows he's got a pit stop left.
Maybe he's just carrying those tires. Maybe he's just like, well, I'll take the time penalty at this point. Who cares? So, I mean, again, he might not know that he has a pit stop, so potentially someone informing him could be an option. But this is very like you can see how his tires are struggling.
I'm not sure if he's aware of it.
I don't know if he's waiting.
He should. I mean,
maybe not.
He's quite a beginner driver, so it might not.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
He's going really wide.
He's even going into the
now
grass.
onto the grass.
So, I mean, it's huge thing. I'm not sure if I have permission to inform him. I kind of want to tell him.
No chatting during the race, I believe.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, so I guess he's going to have to struggle with this tires for about 6 minutes, and knowing the state of his tires, I mean, it might just take 6 minutes to do the lap itself.
I'm really hoping he's going to catch on to it quite soon.
I hope it's like an extremely late pit stop or something like that. Maybe he just goes for fastest lap at the end of the race to just wow us all.
Yeah, that's maybe. He's pulling in a world record.
Be that. You know, like a Sergio Perez, like, I'm going to make these tires last till the end of time. And see how much he's struggling, though, with those tires.
Maybe he's just practicing driving on really worn out tires.
Yeah. Could just be that.
Could
I
get
mean,
a drive-through if
at
he's
this
not
point-
careful, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like,
He isn't trying to catch up to M. Tarkowski in front. He is
He's going in now.
just
He's going
fighting.
in.
Finally. I guess he's either listening to the broadcast or he just realized like, oh wait, I have another one of these. 5 minutes to go, and he's made those tires last, I think, for over 40 to 50 minutes. So well done.
Yeah,
That's all I can really say.
that's pretty amazing. Of course, he's got the Lamborghini
Fresh
tracker
tires.
kernels.
Ah yes, indeed he does.
He,
So
maybe he got the same tires as well.
that's a big thing. That's quite nice, actually. Quite nice, nice warm-hearted joke to really end off the pit stops. We thought the last pit stop would be the 20 to 10 minute mark, but no, it's at the 5 minute mark. And I think really he's made those tires last beautifully, intentionally, unintentionally, who knows. But one pit stop, and now he can go to the end, which isn't too far away. Has he lost any positions due to this extended pit stop? No, he hasn't. So still maintains P8 out of all of this, which is amazing, really. And now he's got the biggest tire advantage on the grid, and we can really see that even just coming into effect just generally. So potentially he'll just do the fastest lap of the race and say, well, within the hour and 15-minute race, at least I got the fastest lap at the very end, you know, and being quite decent and letting Morton by in the number 44 Porsche. So 3 minutes to go. I guess that's about 3 laps of racing, really, knowing the leaders. So currently averaging about, in terms of lap times, about 1 minute and 40 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that is about 3 to 2 minutes of racing. Or no, that's the 3 minutes of racing, but 2 to 3 laps, shall I say.
Yeah.
So, conclusion, what's your opinion about this race? I mean, now that we're getting to the tail end of all of this, you know, drivers are starting to relax, they're content with the positions, and I'm pushing as much. What do you reckon? What do you think of this race?
I mean, it's been an interesting race. Look, there's been quite a few battles along the way. It's just unfortunate.
But a relatively calm one.
What was that? Say it again.
A relatively calm race when you think about it.
Oh yeah, it's been pretty calm.
Compared to-
Of course, there's less cars today. There's quite a few drivers that had to jump in for work. Unfortunately, they're not professional drivers, so they're not paid, so they can't always be here.
Indeed.
Yeah, this has given the opportunity for some of the other drivers to actually score some much needed points.
indeed, and I mean, points are points, and
You know, sometimes even just showing up for the racing is that just bit of sportsmanship that everyone really needs. And for the 10 drivers that should show up, for the audience watching, and for everyone, just generally, I thank you with my dearest heart for sticking around for this long, because I know that is, you know, a bit of a boring one today, but still, you know, it's racing is racing. We did have a couple of battles. It was an interesting strategy battle, more so than it was on track. So hopefully, we'll see a lot more people on the grid next time. Now, I think starting the final lap of this on board with M. Whitford, he has led not from start to finish, but for majority of this race. And I think that is him really safe for the win. He's got about a lap worth of gap at the moment, as we do see Pastinez actually go through the turn 14. So, and well, he's in sector 2, or rather 1 at the moment. So he's at turn 3, and Pastinez is currently going down the main straight. So we're really seeing the class of the field here in M. Whitford, and currently 2 minutes to go. Not 2 minutes, so rather about a lap to go. Not even that, half a lap. Just getting the car home at this point, and could be said about, I think, everyone on track at the moment.
It's I'm really happy to see a BMW on the podium. I don't believe we've
Oh
had,
yeah, for sure.
I don't believe we had a BMW on the podium in the Olympus series since we were racing in Project Cars, and that was season 2, I believe. That's the last time we had a BMW at the podium.
Indeed, and it'll be, I think, not the first. It'll be the first in ACC, but definitely not the last. Race is over. M. Whitford, the class of the field. Final corner, final main straight, wins round 5.
Wins once again.
And well done to him.
Yeah.
Well done to M. Whitford in the number 86 McLaren.
He's such a consistent driver. He rarely makes mistakes. Of course, today we saw him actually go off track. I believe last time we did Hungaroring, he also went off track, but I really never see him go off track other than on Hungaroring. So.
Indeed. And, I mean, it's wonderful that he still won. S. Pasadena's P2 for Bentley. You can see him swerving around. Very well done from him. P. Fuldacey in the BMW. That sounds straight out of a Star Wars movie, because I just noticed the engine sounds like that, especially the downshifts.
Oh, yeah,
getting slipstream from Morton. Indeed, it does. Gets P3. R. Morton also finishes because he's on the final lap as well. C. Hoffman in the number 488 Ferrari. Been through trial and tribulation today. P4 for the Ferrari. Not a bad result. 7 seconds behind Tom Hanks in the number 666 McLaren Aston Martin. Finishes in P5. M. Tarkowski in the number 420 Audi with significant rear damage. Finishes in P7. A. Zavadisky, not the best day for him. A little bit of rear damage to the Ferrari. P8. C. Robinson in the number 689 Ferrari will technically not finish P8 and 9 as he would hope to do with the 30-second penalty.
Actually,
as Zavadisky.
As you say that, I think Zawadzki might actually finish P9 anyways.
He's 4 seconds clear of C. Robinson. Comes across the line. That's P10, and that is your race.
Oh no, you're
Unfortunately,
right. You're right.
I do indeed have to leave because I've got to go eat. But wonderful to be in the comms box as always, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for commentating. Good as always, and
Appreciate it.
hope to see you next time.
Hope to see you.
Yeah, cut out. All right, gonna be getting on with the interviews here soon, so hold on, and we'll be right back.
Checkers in the air. Oh, Michael! Now overshoots turn 1.
Green. 3 wide with half. They're running in there. Show their left and right. Out there, nice work.
right. Hello. Can you hear me, Stefanos?
Hello. Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Hello. Congratulations, man. Finally.
Thank you.
Finally.
Yeah, finally I could finish a race, and to finish it in such a high position, it's I'm feeling very relieved.
Yeah, second place in overall, and then also a silver class first place. So you got 2 medals today.
Oh yeah, I totally didn't expect to do that well. Well, I guess there was a lot of luck involved, but still, yeah, good qualifying, and then carry that into the race. I don't know what happened to Christopher. Well, that was a reason.
He took some early pit stop, I believe, and then I'm not sure if he was stuck behind back markers fighting other cars or what happened, but it seemed that you guys had quite a similar pace. I believe his fastest time was a little bit faster than you, but I believe you had more consistent pace overall. So yeah, it was a good race from you. How do you think you're gonna be able to repeat it in the next race, or?
I'm not sure if I'm gonna take the next races, to be honest. One reason will be because I'm gonna be at the 24 hours of Nürburgring.
Oh yeah, you mentioned.
Yeah, and the other is that I don't have the DLC, but I might get it, and I'll be sure to practice for the next race.
I think next race is on Monza though, but yeah.
Oh, is it really? Oh, then I should be there. Yeah, Monza is one of my favorite tracks, so I'll be definitely there.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Thank you for the interview, and hope you have a good day.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
Is this Rocky?
This is Rocky, yeah.
Yeah, good race yet again.
Oh, what a race. That really was very, very rewarding race for me.
Yeah, you and I believe it was Zawadzki had quite the battle there in the start.
The first half of the race was me and Zawadzki because he was gaining on me. He was making me nervous. He's a sort of driver that does make you nervous. And we both went into the pits at the same time. And for some reason, I got out a few seconds earlier than him. I saw him in my rear view mirror, and he spun out. As he was leaving the pits. So that was basically his race over.
Yeah, you were having quite a battle with not only him at the start. You had a battle with I think it was Hoffman. Who else was it? Hoffman and well, a few of the guys in the silver class were behind you for quite some time there, and you held them off a little bit.
Yeah, at the start of the race, I ended up in the thick of it. I can't remember how it came about, but you're right, I was in the thick of it. At the start of the race, managed to hold them off for quite some time. So I surprised myself for a lot of that race. The pace I had was way beyond my practice pace, and I was doing personal bests during the race. So yeah, quite happy.
Yeah, it was an amazing race to watch. Of course, a few drivers today, but still, I think you've been on top of the amateur class for the entire season, to be honest. So you're definitely doing good work here.
Yeah, I thought I threw it away today though when I got the track limit drive through, because I've never had track limit warnings the entire time I was practicing. For some reason, just race tension maybe, I was hitting a lot of track limits, so I had a drive through, and I thought that's it, I've thrown it away. And then Zawadzki did the same thing. He got track limits as well, so the game was back on. It was a fascinating race. Yeah,
Zawadzki, of course, he also had a 30-second penalty from the previous race, so he still technically he was behind you, but it was a nice on-track battle to see, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that race today. Yep, good stuff.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you on Monza as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Monza. That's a track I'm far more familiar with than today's track. So hopefully the more people turn out for the race next week, and we'll have a good T1 at Monza.
yeah, hopefully work doesn't call again, because it seems a lot of people were working today, so that's the main reason why there were so many people away.
Yeah.
I believe we did Monza last season. I don't remember where you finished.
I don't remember, but I'll look back the replay and I'll be looking to improve on last season's finish anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, last season, of course, was in the dark and middle of the night. It was also the final race of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see Monza in daylight. So it's going to be a good race.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Yeah, good race, man.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks.
Yeah, congratulations, and I'll see you at Monza.
Okay. Bye.
See ya. All right, everybody. That was it for today's race. Season. Yeah, which season are we on? It's season 5. Season 5. This was round 5. Next race, I believe, is on Monza, and the round after that should be Donington, and my mistake. That's Bathurst. And then the last round is on Donington, of course, also in the night. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.